Welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters. Yes, I know. Keleres has been replaced.
Keleres shaved his goatee. Wow.
And grew 4 inches.
And his hair got darker.
Gained a little bit of weight as well. So here we are. Keleres, he was getting excited earlier when stuff was on the laptop. Remember when someone was trying to say what was going on? He started casting.
Yeah. Then he got fired, and that's why you're hosting right now.
He's gone. Yeah. That's it. That's the end of him.
He got demoted to caster.
He got demoted. He's now a PUBG caster. All right, have fun with that. It's like, oh, look, he parachuted behind a building. This is so sick. Okay. We have our last match.
That's right.
The last match of the day, the 10th, well, I guess now the 11th match that we're going to have Cass up here. Of course, you guys still have those laptops there, but nothing to look at.
No,
I'm clicking through co-op heroes really quickly.
I'm not.
That's what I'm doing over here.
Well, I mean, at least you're doing something over there, Maynard. I'm not sure why we still have 3 people at the desk. There's not a whole lot to analyze. But if I was to ask someone, Maynard, what do you think is going to happen in this series, Scarlet versus True?
I actually think that the series is going to be very short.
Yeah?
I think it's going to be, as Pig would say, a bloodbath.
A bloodbath.
Yeah.
Bloodbath.
Yeah. What units are they going to make, Tasteless?
Let's say some Zerglings for sure.
Yeah.
Queens are pretty good. And,
there will be definitely Queens and Zerglings.
Yes, absolutely.
Will there be Banelings?
Overlords are another great unit to have in this matchup.
Uh-huh.
No, in all seriousness, I think it's going to be pretty action-packed and I think pretty quick.
That's the real question. Do we even get to Mutalisks or Hydralisks?
I doubt it.
Probably not. But if we do, that'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, if we get to Mutas, we'll probably get to Hydras.
Guys, really broke down the series, right?
He has the con.
I'm in charge now. All right. I don't know what you think you could get away with Keleres, but it's over now. We're going to the casters. Let's get this last one done.
I'm never letting them have my desk again. It descends into utter chaos. What was that?
I mean, the analysis they brought was pretty high level, though. We might see some Zerglings and some Queens and Overlords. Thank you, Nick, for that gem. I don't know how we would understand the matchup without it.
I know.
This match, I mean, Scarlet, she's thinking about maybe Overlords, maybe drones, but True's thinking, will I let it get to Mutalisks? Maybe Hydralisks? I don't think so.
No, indeed. He's very aggressive. He likes to put on the aggression against someone like Scarlet as well, who is, when it comes to this matchup specifically, can be a little bit vulnerable to those kinds of attacks. So, how is it going to go down?
Hey, it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be vicious. You see Scarlet there, a bit of shaking her head, rubbing the eyes. It's getting late into the night. The players are tired. And what a better series to cast here with your return to casting StarCraft.
That's right. Once they told me that I could cast, all of the energy was rejuvenated into it. Let's get it on. Up to the top left-hand corner in the blue, representing Psystorm Gaming. Of course, it is True. Going up against a very strong opponent who's proved her mettle in the past couple of weeks. Down to the bottom right-hand corner in the red, representing Team Expert, it is Scarlet.
So eager, you took both intros there, James.
Oh, I did, I'm sorry.
You just dove right back into it. I'm down with it. I like your intros, James.
Thank you. Thank you.
So where do you think this Overlord's going to parachute to? Do you think it's going to go Novo or...
I can't believe they even did that to me. They threw me right under the bus. I can't believe it. But no, he's going Lipovka. Anyway.
All right, gonna go there. A little bit more high risk, high reward, but we'll see where they do end up going. Looks like Scarlet and True both gonna go hatch gas pool, and man, I mean, I think realistically, bringing it back from the silly side of things and have some actual analysis here. I think at this stage, it's all about tempo, right? Like, especially Zerg vs. Zerg is always a bit momentum focused, but like suddenly, like at the end of this long drawn out bracket, it's late at night, you've both flown a long way to be here. It's time to bring out the aggression and try to not kind of let your opponent get away with pushing you around.
And True just had to go through a grueling series. I mean, a grueling bracket anyway. Likewise, Scarlet, having fallen down to the lower bracket isn't exactly the best position for her to have been.
Very start as well.
Yeah, but there's been brackets where we've seen her kind of gather momentum. If you think about when she was at the Intel Extreme Masters Pyeongchang, some of her earlier rounds, there was a little bit of a question there. Is she going to be able to prevail through them? But later on in that tournament, she really started pushing forward strongly. Time will tell. Time will tell.
We'll have to see if she can pick up that momentum, get the aggression going, and see exactly what comes up next. It seems like Both players, I think, pulling off gas a little bit. If here, let's see, it looks like 2 on gas for Scarlet still. True, also 2 on gas. So just going to both probably looking towards a third base. And I would imagine Baneliness for both players with this amount of gas coming in. So is, of course, a longer map. Acid Plant takes a while to get over there.
I'm just going to be heading out towards the third base with these drones to get things going.
True's taking the weird base as well, the one in the front.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's very far forwards.
A bit more aggressive, maybe, off the back of that.
Potentially. Baneliness going down at the front here for True and positioning that at the natural, so the Queen can kind of slip in between where the little lava spawn for a defensive position. Good stuff, True.
Yeah, I mean, she's nice and snug in there. You know, Queens, when they're out in the open, they get a bit cold. They get it, but you get a nice little nest. That's like the Queen's spot. It's kind of like a hammock for the Queen. She likes it in there. Very comfortable.
Looking for an Overlord kill, but yeah, since they got a little bit faster, it's not exactly super easy, but it looks like 2 Queens should be able to get the job done, so that's quite a nice pickup.
I feel like this is so good because, and we keep talking about Scarlet's aggression.
I come back to cast one thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to get it. Nah. Yeah, nah.
I mean, that's the caster curse, my friend.
Right.
I mean, that's every time when you see an Overlord like that, I swear it's impossible to call. I always get it wrong, no matter what. And there's going to be a couple Banelings on the defense for True. This is similar how to True was playing against Serral. It's totally uncharacteristic. It's the last thing you'd expect from the Korean Zerg player. You'd expect him to be aggressive, but he's just saying, no, just going to defend, build drones.
And that was an interesting spot that they were morphed in, because if there would have been a commitment from Scarlet, the Banelings would have come in from an uncharacteristic angle as well, meaning that it could potentially catch off those Zerglings and actually do a lot of damage to that aggressive force.
And True already up about 6 workers here, continuing to build more. Scarlet is starting to chase down this other Overlord. Looks like she might be able to get this one. True's like, no, get back, keep the Overlord safe. Trying to slow these Queens down. You can see, there we go, his Zergling's coming forward. He just wants to stop them from getting the Overlord. But I think Scarlet's solid here, and she's got a lot more Zerglings coming out, as well as more Banelings.
Yeah.
I think she needs to go across and pressure, though, because True's gotten way ahead on the worker count.
There's an attempt to get it back to the high ground there, but if it had have been a little bit more forwards for those Queens, then that Overlord could have got the high ground quite quickly. A few Lings maybe as well, and that Overlord will escape. Lings to the left-hand side, trying to put on aggression towards this third base, though. True realizes and is going to try and set up the defense.
Oh, the Zergling's going to get a nice little wraparound on this Queen. The Baneling going to come in, and punish it. Gets a nice little connection. Other one also gets a good connection. That's not too bad there for True, and I feel like Scarlet might have been a little bit slow to counterattack here. She's given True plenty of time to prepare, and he's transitioning well behind this.
Banelings all over the place, get cleaned up eventually. Ling's going to be on the counter towards that third base. Ling's in the main base as well. They looked like they were moving up to a position to try and morph into Banelings. I think we heard that at the very tail end of that. Spire is going to be going down on the other side of the base for True. The wraparound doesn't quite finish the Queen, though.
Not quite. Those Queens are going to get transfuse energy in a moment, but getting a few workers in the main at the same time was True. He did manage to finish that Baneling morph. It's going to waddle into the main. Might be able to get a few. Nope, the Queen intercepts. Good defense there by Scarlet. But there's a Spire on the way behind this, and that's what's so worrying for Scarlet right now. True, so decisive. He was like, I'm going to defend.
Yeah.
You're going to be overly safe because I'm normally aggressive, and then I'm just going to go into Mutas off the back because he's got a worker lead. He's got map control right now. True is looking so good.
I mean, my question to you, Pig, is did Scarlet know about the layer timing of True? Because that Spire's coming in at quite a and didn't get in here, so doesn't really know fully about the tech situation for True.
I think she's actually lost track of this game, to be honest. I've seen games like this for myself many times where, you know, your opponent just gets away with a little bit of greed. You don't quite realize that they've actually gotten way ahead in that tech, and I feel like these Mutalisks are going to be a huge surprise to Scarlet. I mean, she's down in the workers. She's going into Hydratech, so maybe she knows about it, but she doesn't really have the economy to get up into those Hydras just yet.
Lings flood in, looking to get some damage done in the main base, but those Roaches will eventually come back and clean it up. A really good Queen position, actually, to deny the Lings from getting into the mineral line that easily, but the Queen goes down, means less lava injects available at this location, and finally cleaned up.
The Zerglings couldn't make up. They were like, oh, run, and they end up headbutting the Baneling. Of course, still a great trade there for True, all things considered. The Mutalisks are out, man. And this is tough because Scarlet doesn't have spores yet. You might look at the work account and say, oh, similar economies, it's okay. The thing is, if she wants to defend these Mutas and not lose drones, she's going to have to build a ton of spores, and that's a lot of drones and minerals you've got to invest in that. Meanwhile, True can do whatever he wants behind this. He's got full map control. He's picking off Overlords for free. This is a fantastic position for True.
And he's going to have great map control, apart from these Lings, which he's trying to deny from getting towards his fourth base at the moment. The Mutalisks could come back and help if they want, but they were already picking off Overlords across the map.
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, this is pretty good. And Baneling speed and +1 flyer attacks for True. Gonna go for some Mutaling Bane style. I love this, especially since Scarlet's not going Infested. She's just building Hydras. If you push out with Hydras, Speed Banes can just roll in, clean those up.
Yep.
And if that Muta count gets out of control, then, you know, Scarlet's going to be in a really hard spot. So True looking for some momentum here. The Spore Crawl is just finishing in time, but straight Overlords going to be easy pickups.
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to cost Scarlet a little bit here. And it's always a good question as to what you do, how you're going to respond to a heavy Mutalist play. Hydralisks and Queens can be an answer for the defensive capabilities, but sometimes after that, after losing a few drones here, really good control by True, you end up in that situation where it's like, well, do I use like a Nidus to get over the other side eventually to deal with it and try and put some aggression? But it can sometimes come a little too late.
Oh, it's moments like these where I'm sure Scarlet's wishing she had those Heart of the Swarm Spore Crawlers that shoot laser cannons that just one-shot Mutalisks. But unfortunately, no, these are Legacy of the Void Spore Crawlers. And with only a single Spore per mineral line, Scarlet just not quite prepared. The Mutas just dove in, did 22 worker kills there. And now Scarlet, she's just got to kind of sit in her corner, pull her shell over her head, and try to slowly get herself back in this game. I think she might need to just add Infestors in, because that Muta count, I mean, it's like up to like 20 Mutas now, I think.
It's really not the easiest thing to do, because unless you've got like some Lings left over from the early stages of the game, any kind of counterattacks aren't that possible to the point where you then end up in a situation where it becomes exponentially problematic. You're losing drones, your opponent is establishing even more economy on their side of the map, and really taking a massive lead.
Yeah, these Mutas just poking around, picking off whatever they can, and as long as they stay alive, they force a huge reaction here from Scarlet. They can actually find the Lurker Den as well as a few Overlords. Oh man, so much damage! True is all over this game. That's insane, dude.
We are at 11 Overlords, so normally you kind of get the Overlords that are in the middle of the map that are all retreating back, but no, we've just been able to dive between these bases. The Queens haven't done too much. Good transfuses to keep them alive. Retargets onto a Hydralisk, knowing that one volley will instantly kill it off, so no opportunity for transfuse there.
And it's going to be a huge Mutaling Bane time. I mean, this is always the funnest sort of attack. I mean, Scarlet is going to need the sickest spreads. She needs a wall of roaches. And even then, I don't know if she can stop this attack, dude. It is going to be an onslaught of melee units. Maybe if her Banelings can connect, right?
Yeah.
If she can get a pair of her Banelings into the pack of Speed Banes of True, that's where maybe she hangs on here. And oh, she's looking for it!
Yeah, she is. There's so many Banelings, though, which is a big, big problem. These two trying to find down towards the bottom left, only connects with maybe one or two down there. So there's still a lot left here for True and available.
Oh, the Queen's coming to the front is going to be big. Oh, these drones all exposed there. So many going to fall. 13 drones. The Mutas take a lot of a bruising, though. I mean, this was good damage for True, but it's not game over yet.
Yeah, the important point there for True was that wasn't his entire army. You can see right in the middle here, a lot more Banelings morphing in. Going on for the Hydras!
Oh!
That's seeing everything off guard! And that connected with the Hydras perfectly. The Roaches were in no position to be able to deal with that. A catastrophe for Scarlet here, and this is do or die right now because there's no way she's going to be able to hold this off. More Bane's going to end up rolling through there. On towards the Queens. Transfuse is trying going down on everything, but slaughter ensues, and True will take game number 1 here in this best of 3.
Slaughter ensues. He is True this game. All over it from the start. Just sick play, man. I think he had a good game plan there, you know. It didn't work out against Serral when he tried to do this very defensive opening, but you can tell here, Scarlet, you know, she's worried about True's image. She played a little bit overly safe, and as soon as he had the slightest edge, he ran away with that game. Those Lings were darting in from all sides, went into the surprise Mutalisks. Great play from True, and I think Scarlet a little bit surprised by how that game went down.
Yeah, very difficult there for Scarlet, and being caught off guard like that, I mean, you've already had a lot of knock-on effects to really hurt your position on your side of the map. Then to have the Hydra so exposed like that against that many Banelings, well, you're not going to be doing anything against Mutalisks.
Oh, yeah. That's like one of those games where you're so far behind anyway, it's like Infestors are probably your best shot, like landing those sick defensive fungals, and even then, it's so hard to actually like stop so many Mutas and Banelings coming in. True was so good at splitting them up and coming in from different angles, and I think Scarlet was caught in a pretty hard position. Of course, it is a best of 3. It's brutal, you know, you can't lose another game now as Scarlet or you're out of the tournament.
But my question to you, Pig, is where did everything go wrong for Scarlet in that game? Is it the fact that she just didn't have the information in the main base as fast as Zalea was coming in the Spire? Is that a big difference maker here when looking at game number 1? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's definitely it. That was kind of a flow-on effect from the early game, but if she scouted, you know, we often talk about Serral's obsessive Ling scouting, right?
Right, yeah.
No matter what's happening, he's like defending and harassing, and also there's 2 Lings circling through the main and checking the lair and the gases. So he's never surprised by mutas, right? But Skarlet, I think, was already a little bit behind earlier, which fed into this problem, and it was because she just built a lot of Ling Bane for defense. And True was like, I have 2 Banelings and 4 Zerglings, and I'm going to build 40 drones, and then I'm going to make Ling Bane. So he just had so much momentum from the get-go. Her counter pressure just didn't work out. He took some great Baneling connections. Her micro just slightly a few small mistakes, so I think that combo there led to a big insurmountable advantage.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 2, as we have down to the bottom left-hand corner in the blue. 1 game away from total annihilation here in this tournament. It is Skarlet. That was a bit dramatic, actually.
Wow. I mean, I like the dramatic ones, you know, because
that's right.
Up here in the top right-hand side, looking to prove that he is the supreme commander in the red. It is True.
After game number 1, certainly looked like it. Exploited his opponent to the best of his ability, and this drone,
Cheeky Kalaris.
That's right, you can't use that without me.
Yes, finally I get a chance to use that. Thanks for coming back, James.
No problem, my pleasure.
We missed you over here at the casting desk.
I wish I got to do it more, but there you go, people like me as a host, it's kind of weird. I don't understand why. Anyway, that's the balloons in that chest right there.
Oh, yeah. You use them to load up the cannon, right?
That's actually a model from Heroes of the Storm.
Ah.
I'll shut up before everyone on Reddit hates me. Anyway.
You play Arthur video games?
Oh my god.
We hate Kalaris.
Wait, what? What's that?
That is like a raccoon playing a bongo?
That is a raccoon playing the bongo. Is that a little thing from Star Wars? What's it?
An Ewok. It might be, actually.
It looks like that.
Wow, that's incredible.
I didn't know that existed on this map.
Alright, Bongo playing Ewok. He's there. Like, they just teleported him from... Oh my god, is that one?
That's more Ewoks.
Oh, wow. They're just hanging out. That's so cool, man. I got to actually investigate these maps more.
Yeah, we used to do it, me and Todd, when we'd get bored in some qualifiers, because, to be fair, we'd do 10-hour qualifiers, and it was quite a long time. So we'd explore things, see crash motherships, etc. We had a lot of fun. It was a nice time. It was like making a nature documentary.
Yeah, I mean, the effort the map makers put in here is pretty incredible, but... Back on track with the game. So, I mean, it's a gold hatch first for True. He's going to have a huge mineral boost.
Yep.
He's going for Ling Speed behind it. Skarlet, meanwhile, going for one of her fast evolution chamber plays. Looks like it's going to be the fast Carapace Zergling opening once again. Something she's really been favoring today and in the past few weeks. And her Overlord's going to come in, but that drone rallying down, that's going to tell her everything she needs to know. She's going to, oh, no natural. Yeah, okay, you're going for the gold base. So she should realize very soon that it is just a fast gold expand.
Yep.
She's going to go for some sort of Ling aggression. And it's going to be interesting, right? Because she's going to have the upgraded Lings, so they're a bit stronger. But, I mean, True's just going to have so much money coming in. He's going to have a lot of resources, but his bases are spread apart. It's hard to defend. I feel like True needs to be the aggressor, right?
Yeah, and it would make sense. I mean, ultimately, you've got to weigh up the pros and cons of a gold base, right? Because you say that these bases are far apart, therefore you think something like True's Queen in the main base can't necessarily come back down.
Yeah.
But the money you make from the gold base kind of makes up for that defense disadvantage of having the one Queen. Maybe you have a few more Lings available to you for taking.
Exactly. You know, and often people use aggression with that to cover yourself, right? They're like, well, why defend this awkward position? Let's just put pressure on my opponent to defend through offense, right? And we are seeing a third hatch go down early for True. Ling Speed now started for Skarlet. Keep in mind, Skarlet, you know, she has to be defensive for quite a while here, but she has a worker lead. The tough thing is these Zerglings are coming out now for True, catching these Queens in the open, but okay, a few Zerglings are here to help defend it. I think immediately True knows what he's up against, seeing those Zerglings with no Ling Speed, and he confirms it with the Scout in the main base. Is going to take out a drone or two on the way as well. Nice micro here from True.
It's got to be a little bit scary to see something like that here, as he's got himself that third hatchery on the way. He's making quite a few Lings, getting that Roach Warren down as well to try and prepare for anything that may come. Because, I mean, realistically, taking something like a Roach Warren against having a few Banelings morphing in, the Banelings aren't going to be as fantastic against Lings, so you're going to have follow-up damage if a Baneling is going to connect on Lings.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Roach Warren and Lair now are going to go down for Skarlet as well, so looks like, you know, both players looking to go to that stage, but how these Zergling skirmishes go is going to be absolutely decisive as to who gets ahead. Right now, True still on a very low worker count, and he's making so many Lings and Banelings. I feel like he almost wants to just receive Scarlet's aggression, shut it down, and then counterattack.
Is it an overcommitment right now from True in terms of a defensive stance?
It's a bit weird, right? I would like him to hide some of these Lings for a counterattack, right? That would be really cool, but they're all almost all on the defense.
There's some up to the top left. Maybe they can do something, but they've been spotted, so...
Ooh, the Lings are going in now for Scarlet. She sees a lot of Banes, has to just back out for now. And, yeah, I mean, both players still neck and neck in terms of these units, but nice Queen focus fire. That was great play there from Scarlet. Shuts that one down, and, oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. That's what you need to do with this massive Lings that you've overbuilt as True. Get a few worker kills, start to do some damage to the economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to the main base here. The Lings will eventually clean it up, but 5 workers have already gone down. 28 to 28 workers, and when you've got a gold base in play, you know that you're actually getting more benefit from that economy, as you can see right here. So not too bad for True. A lot of that admittedly was from workers not mining for a little bit of time there. So True's, though, still sitting strong.
True's economy is so small still in terms of worker count. It's one of these weird situations where it's like, oh, okay, the Zerglings there going to try and get in. The Baneling's not really getting the good hits.
He's got a lot of roaches, though. Is he just going to follow this with a ton of Lings to actually push across? Because if he does, that's 13 roach against 8. At least it's not a massive army in comparison.
This is just one of those weird situations, though, where it's so easy for either player to misread it, right? Like, Scarlet's going up to roaches with roach speed and +1, but she's just built 8 more drones right as True moves out. And, I mean, the thing is, if she just gives up the third, she's still fine. The mistake she might make is trying to overcommit to defending the third base. Oh, if she could take those rocks down. She's got to get that time. That's great. That's going to buy her an extra 20 seconds.
Yeah, close the door, and that will help out quite a bit. The entire army here, moving down to this bottom right-hand side. There's a few Banelings in the mix. If they connect with the Lings, that's okay. But I don't know if Scarlet's going to allow that. The roaches can focus. Down. She tried to split off 1 or 2 Lings there onto the Banes. Wasn't successful. But they do go down in the end.
The Queens have so much transfuse, though, and that's going to be really big here for Scarlet. Dodges some of the Baneling hits, but look at that Zergling count from True.
Yeah, they're actually going to be able to swamp a lot of these roaches. They can't do the damage that they want to onto her opponent's roaches, and now the Lings are tanking for these roaches to do so much damage. Regardless of reinforcement point here for Scarlet, True has done a lot of power moves into this natural base. With 24 Lings in production, it's almost desperation against these Lings if they can get in a good spot and kind of wedge themselves against buildings.
Yeah, I mean, they've just got that critical mass in between the rallies. They're killing the units as they're popping out. A good wraparound there for Scarlet, but at the same time, the Ling reinforce comes in for True. And even, I mean, the carapace is doing a good amount for Scarlet. It looks like she's almost able to break out. She's still got a massive worker lead. There's still a little bit of hope here for the Canadian Zerg to get back in this game. Drones pulled off the line. Not a single one falls, and she manages to stabilize.
All right, how is she going to be able to deal with this pack of Banelings that have morphed in? There, a few Lings going to head up towards the third base, try and focus down this Queen. Very, very tight and close hold there. Roaches at the front, though. If they block the Banelings, they're trying to block as well as focus fire here, making sure they can't get into the mineral light. Drones get pulled off. She focuses down all the Banelings and is able to survive.
And look at that supply right there. She's managed to hold on. True was putting everything into this. He's still only on 24 workers right now. This is insane. He's got a Spire coming down, which, I mean, it's a great surprise tech. But I feel like Scarlet, without even realizing how hard she was being all in, her defense with the Queen transfuses, that pull of drones at the right time, the Lings wrapping around, somehow holds on to an almost impossible position. Now she's got +2 range on the way. She already had 1 upgrades with roach speed as well, by the way. And like, that is just incredible. I was thinking numbers-wise, there's no way she should hold. But then you think, wait, these are 1 roach speed roaches? Okay, now I see how you managed to hang on there.
Exactly. You open up with the carapace, and it has the knock-on effects of benefiting. You know, when you see like a melee upgrade start or a range upgrade start, it's like, okay, that's cool. You know, it affects some of your units, but the carapace affects everything. So those roaches with the Lings do hold on. So very nice by Scarlet, holding off basically the all-in. almost assures her the victory here. It's like a 95% chance.
This was one of these bizarre games where True just doesn't drone for so long, and it was so close to breaking Scarlet. And he is going to go mutas. There's a chance to make this tech work, but he really does need to do truly massive amounts of damage to get back in this. He's got to just take down a lot of the roaches. Luckily, it is a big map, so the roach attack, he should have time to wear it down. And I love the way he's just doing a runaround down here. He's trying to just distract them, right?
Buy some time. The thing is that, as you mentioned, you know, the Mutalisks can eventually clean up the roaches, but sometimes in Zerg versus Zerg, you get that moment where there's so many roaches, you're trying to kill off them all, but they're doing so much damage in your main base, in your natural, that the job is eventually done, even though they're going to die. And look at that,
and
Scarlet knows.
It. Yeah, she's just going to go for it, man. That +1 carapace is so good against the Mutalisk bounce as well. The Mutalisk bounce is being reduced so much by the armor of these roaches, and already a bunch of drones going down. These roaches just going to dive into the main base. A relentless assault from Scarlet. She is not ready to bow out of IEM Katowice yet. She is looking to tie up this series. She's going to take down the Spire.
Brings that down, follows it up with a Hydralisk Den behind things as well, just to make sure that once, if ever, all of these roaches die to this Mutalisk flock, then they can be able to just defend at home. Nidus Worm's going to go down as well here for Scarlet, but I mean, 24 works down, 14 to 54 right now. It would be miraculous if True was able to come back from this.
Yeah, it looks like even the hatchery and the natural is going to go down. Pretty much every work has gone down to the gold. The only drones are hiding in this corner of the main base. They're like, they're on the high ground there. They're like, quick, get back, go get some more minerals. And there's even a Nidus Worm to follow it up. So just very, very good recovery in this game from Scarlet. Stayed calm in the face of True's crazy Zergling counterattacks. Manages to hang on.
And best of luck, Mutalisks. You have 10 Hydralisks, 8 Queens to contend with, and then there's probably going to be a lot more Hydralisks out in a few seconds. And these Lings, once again, not dissimilar to what we saw before from True, had to buy time.
They better be like Duke Nukem Mutas or something, man. Each one needs to get a lot of kills. Like, these got to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone or something, because, yeah. They would have needed to take out so many units to tie that game up. And Scarlet, she hangs on, but you can see the effect that brush with death has had on her. She is exhausted and stressed right now.
Breathing a sigh of relief. True, meanwhile, takes a swig of his orange juice and is going to kind of recompile himself here, try and get himself into this game at number 3. I think he feels like he was in an okay spot with his bases, especially since Scarlet had opened up in such a way to eventually try and apply the pressure. And, you know, Scarlet didn't really do too much of that. And you said it midway through that cast. It's difficult to be able to exactly understand, is my opponent just making units, though?
Maybe that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was like, you called it, right? The thing is, True was almost over-committing on the defense.
A little, yeah.
But he very quickly just swapped into aggression.
Let's go.
And I feel like it was the same as game 1, right? Where Scarlet didn't scout. She didn't see, you know, it was the Mutatech in game 1. In this one, it was just like a huge commitment to Lingbane and then Roaches. And the thing is, if you look at this, there's nothing stopping Scarlet from scouting a little bit more aggressively. She's a little bit too focused on this squad of Zerglings is here to do damage. This squad of units is to clean up your attack, or it's to counterattack you. But I think there's nothing wrong with splitting off 2 Lings and just running them around, try to get in that natural. Because at any point, if she spots the natural and sees no workers on it, if she spots the third not having that many workers on it, immediately it's going to click in her brain. She's going to go, oh, whoa, hold on a second. Do I really need to, you know, go 1-1 upgrades? Do I need roach speed? No, I just need to build some units and defend. And she doesn't have to be as close to dying as she did in that game because she'd done so well up to that point. But I think she needs to realize that against a tricky player like True, who's shown an ability to bounce between hard macro, hard all-in, aggressive commitments, you know, she's got to just scout him a little bit more actively and try to keep tabs on what he's doing with his drones, and with his lava.
And someone like True is a guy that, in this high-octane, high-pressure situation of a 1-1, there's one more game to determine if you're in or if you're out. He's not afraid to do something completely aggressive and just kind of forego the macro play, forego anything like that. He's not willing, he's not scared of being able to put it on all on the line. That was hard to say. I don't know why. It's late. But overall, Scarlett has to be very careful about any eventuality that could come her way here.
Couldn't have said it better myself, James. I mean, it's just the fear that you're going to have as someone like Scarlett coming in as the favorite, but it's okay. She's just opened up the TL live report thread, read some people saying, you know, oh, Scarlett's playing like poo today, you know, oh, she's just, oh. And she's like, oh, you haters, I'm going to show you. I know that's what Scarlett used to always do anyway when she's in tournaments. She'd go and read random internet comments or hop in Twitch chat to give herself a smile. Now she's going to gather it together. She's going to rally. And I don't actually know what the next map is. We're going to find out in a second. But I hope for Scarlett's sake, she didn't play Veto Chicken. Okay, she didn't. It's a much more regular map. It's going to be Catalyst.
All right, then. The final game of the day here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice World Championship. Up to the left-hand corner in the blue, representing Psystorm Gaming. Of course, it is true. Attempted some cheeky goal base in the previous game. Looking for more here.
Certainly is. And of course, his opponent down here in the bottom right-hand side, representing Canada, the recent IEM Pyeongchang champion, it is Scarlett. Playing for Team Expert.
Yep. You think about the Zergs that Scarlett is able to thwart along her path, and that road is pretty much star-studded. There's only the folly of some European Zergs that may sometimes come and trying to contend with her because, well, in Europe, everyone's very, very good at Zerg versus Zerg. However, true in WCS, in my mind, aside from getting a few, like, bracket finishes, I'm still waiting for him to impress truly in 2017, 2018, because he's the caliber that should be doing. He came to the WCS system, the WCS circuit, to claim this land in these last couple of years, and so far, in my mind, hasn't been able to attain that properly.
It's so odd, isn't it, to see a player come over, dominate WCS Montreal back in 2016 towards the second half of that year, and then not really be able to recreate that, struggling in the Challenger Series, you know, struggling to qualify through to some of these tournaments and get these high seedings, especially with players like Scarlett and Neeb and this sort of caliber. So, interestingly enough, we are seeing Hatch first from True up against the pool first from Scarlett. Scarlett saying, I will not go out to anything silly. This is a smaller map. Yeah, it's not the crazy rush map, but it's still kind of small. I don't want to die to an early pool. She's playing exceptionally safe and middle of the road right now, and I feel like True here, I mean, he's unafraid, he's confident. If he can come out with some aggression off the back of this while establishing a third, it could be a nice way to set himself up for the mid-game.
And it definitely is the validation of us saying before that True is capable of just saying, well, it's the final game, I don't care, let's go. But that's not going to be the case just yet, as these Toolings are going to be able to spot the natural, which is nice. They spot a few drones down here, which is especially nice. And one little Zergling gets surrounded.
Yeah, that was nice. She tried to run it, kind of derped out, and then the other drone just trapped it in there, body blocked it. And, okay. Creep Tumor immediately at the natural for Scarlett. So it looks like she is actually going to be doing a wall-off build here with an Evo and a Roach Warren, I believe. Third Queen already on the way. No Spine Crawler just yet. I think she's going to put that down right now. No, it's a Baneling Nest. Okay, very...
Maybe the Evo's to join eventually, just in case, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just odd to see such a fast Creep Tumor, but I guess she's just saying, look, this way, no matter what craziness happens, I can wall off if I need to. This might just be her setting up for a very defensive game, saying, look, I'm just going to make a few Banelings for defense. I'm going to really cut on the Zergling count and just go Baneling Queen defense. In an emergency, I can wall off. That Creep will help me get Queens over to my third base. Yeah. So I think she's just setting up for a very defensive stance and pushing back the Overlord with the Queen, something she does every game to keep her opponent a little bit in the dark.
And right now, a lot of Lings in production for True. Admittedly, Scarlett is getting a few herself here, just to make sure she's not going to be thwarted at all, but I think the Overlord did spot these Lings on the way. Banelings are going to be morphed in such a way as to defend some of those cocoons if the Lings are to arrive there a little bit earlier. Really good position on those to have a good defensive posture at the natural.
Absolutely. I love this defense here from Scarlett, and she's building more Lings and Banes. She doesn't want to give up this third. It's been her weakness in the games that she's lost today in Zerg vs. Zerg. It's always been the third base not being able to stand strong that's given her trouble, and once again, the third base takes taking a lot of damage. She's just having so much trouble hanging onto that base. One of her queens has already fallen. She is building more queens and a massive Ling Bane, but she stabilizes here, and she's still got the 5-drone advantage.
Definitely, and the trick of all of that was it was defense on multiple angles. Skarlet knew that there was always going to be that little counterattack to try and draw away from defending the third, and if one was given up, one would be hurt massively. This is finished though. The Lynx are trying to do something here. Baneling's zoning out for a little bit, but there's so many Lynx here. Skarlet should be able to save this position for now.
The third hatch is so bruised right now. It is bleeding. She might need to transfuse it a few times. Good fight here for Skarlet, though. True getting a little bit overeager on the right flank. Yes, he's got the Zergling count, but he was just headbutting into a very bad angle.
That was a great Baneling connection, though, to be able to kind of thin these numbers. Skarlet holding on still, has a drone advantage right now. 24 more Lings in production. True is not done yet. He wants that third base.
I love the triple queen production from Skarlet. She is pumping out these queens. She knows they are what's going to anchor her defense. The Banelings, they're going to take it out. That is a kill. Right there, the hatchery goes down. No transfuse ready. A queen falls as well. Skarlet is going to need to immediately rebuild that and hang on here. Roach transition, big drone wave coming out for True. He wants to find more damage, but he's committing to the economy behind it.
That's right, keeping on the aggression, making sure that the transitions behind it are strong. Likewise, Skarlet knows that once that third base goes down, okay, probably this might ease up. Unfortunately for her, that's quite a bit of Lings still left, but 6-7 Banelings with these queens should be having an okay time. I think Banelings can be focused down elsewhere. Actually, that's a lot of Banelings to defend.
Wow, with the triple queen up front as well. This is a really good hold here for Skarlet. And, you know, it's almost a bit unfortunate for the Canadian Zerg. She was prepared for such a defensive opening from the start that because True has been able to pick off queens very early, she hasn't been able to build up that insane amount of energy where she can just endlessly transfuse. So she's had to spend a lot of money rebuilding these queens. And this is why it's so close right now. We've got the lair coming down for both players. Yeah, like the third base had to rebuild for Skarlet, but realistically it doesn't make too much difference because their worker count is so similar. So I really see this as a very close game. Upgrades are tied, workers are tied.
Yeah.
It's pretty much dead even.
The closest thing to normal a Zerg versus Zerg is going to get when it comes to how these two have been able to match up against one another.
Thought this was meant to be a quick series, Maynard. Come on, where's that Zerg versus Zerg analysis, mate?
We'll get to him back on the desk eventually, and that'll be good. That'll be good. But these Lynx going to be able to push their way from the third once again. It's True. Does back off, doesn't want to sacrifice some units for no particular reason. There wasn't drones there to be able to attack aggressively, so...
Drone count is in the lead for True right now. Looking very comfy there. 5 Overlords queued up, which to me always says, you know what? I'm about to build about 50 Roaches because Roaches chew up a ton of supply. And I think True's just going to flick that switch and say, you know what? I've got 4 gas geysers, I've got roach speed, I've got +1. I might not even get +2. I think I might just go non-stop roaches. He might actually need to get a 5th gas, especially since he's made an overseer here and he's a little bit starving on that front. And he's indeed going to actually drone up more as well as adding that 5th gas geyser. So True here, pumping out a lot of army, having a small lead for himself.
Well, this roach move is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out. The answer is no. She's going to come straight on back, realizing that not only is there the potential for the counter-attack here, but also by the time she would get over there, the roach numbers would be very high for True as well.
Those Banelings really would love a hug from those Zerglings right now. They're just running around saying, free hugs, please, please, please. But True, a bit too attentive, not going to fall for that trap. Says, you know what, glowing stacks of acid, probably not the best thing for me to engage onto right now. So his Zergling's going to continue to be a threat. And this is really good for True. It gives him a lot of presence.
Yeah, he's opening up the taps hard as well because he just made 7 Overlords, which means that right now he has free reign. It's time to spam, spam, spam. Skarlet, you're kind of intravenously feeding in those Overlords and not really too far behind, of course. But once that big fight comes along, it really depends where True wants to take it. He can even split up some of these roaches down the line as well, trying to sneak some in whilst drawing all of Skarlet's attention towards the third base, because I think he will have a few more roaches when the fight comes.
I like this overseer from Skarlet. She's like, look, I'm going to follow you. I need to see the moment you get something like tunneling claws. That's obviously something she's worried about. But not just that, just the sheer size of True's army right now is frightening. She's making Ravages to help try and even things up. She does have those Banelings, which can actually help quite a bit in an engagement. But great run by there, and no Baneling on the ramp for Skarlet. She's going to take a little bit of damage to this.
Thankfully for her, those roaches pop just at the right time. Try and clean that up. Big movement in towards the left-hand side here. The roaches, though, waiting and ready to deal with that Ravager Biles. Actually do connect with some of the roaches, but True thinks he has enough to be able to break through this position as bringing down so many of these roaches. The Ravagers are almost going to be left exposed here. The reinforcements for Scarlet aren't too bad. It's a very, very close battle as this ensues on with more roaches coming from the north.
It's so decisive here from True. Takes the engagement. Scarlet microing about as well as she can, but her Ravagers have all gone down, and she's just down in the army count a little bit too far. Her upgrades, the double upgrades she was investing in, the higher worker count she was investing in, not quite having a chance to pay off. Drones being forced off the line here, and True finding that damage. Scarlet trying to micro that ball of roaches around. She wants to just engage a little bit of True's army at a time. She's fighting as well as she can. True here so close to breaking her.
And very close to getting that +2 upgrade as well here is True. So even if it could snowball a little bit further for him, that would be fantastic. But the roach numbers have been thinned, but it will not be able to break it just yet. Drones get pulled off the line once again. Only 5 have gone down during all of this, but True continues to rally forward. +2 weapons is done at the moment. The upgrades, the carapace is only just finished for Scarlet. It's not going to make up as much as the +2. She really needs the +2 herself as well.
It's about to finish. I mean, she's going to maybe... Oh, these 3 roaches looking for a counter. She may be able to hang on. She's down only 5 workers. She does have a 4th hatch-up, whereas True's has only just started. I mean, she's still down 20 army supply. Tunneling Claws, Burrow, and Carapace going to start up for True. I think this is a great transition from him. Honestly, I have no idea how she's still alive.
Super
she
close
was
hold.
so close to going down there, but she's still got a shot now, and she doesn't want to go out this early.
Well, actually, one thing I want to look at is what's the queen count at right now for these players? It's 3-0, so no lava. Losing, it was a close fight, and she did survive, but having the lack of queens now really hurts the eventual replenishment, and True could start snowballing this.
Yeah, she's got to squeeze 1 or 2 queens out here. She's going to start up 1. She doesn't want to spend too much money on it and then be down on the roaches, but either way, this is going to hurt her in the long run. These roaches from True running in. He's trying to hit from 2 sides, both the east and the west, James.
Ooh.
This is an attack we don't see very often.
No, not at all, but now he's decided to back off, so we were a little bit gun-ho.
He'll do it again. He'll do it again.
He will. Let's go.
Let's wait for the Burrow. Wait for the Tunneling Claws.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it gives him a great opportunity. How many Overseers do we have in places? So there's one down towards the 3rd base. A second one is... Oh, this is perfect setup, actually, for Scarlet to eventually greet this kind of attack.
Yeah, I mean, I think True needs to just kind of brute force it. I don't even know if Tunneling Claws is the answer with how good Scarlet's positioning is. And these bases get more and more spread out, so it's very hard as Scarlet to monitor your defense. But there we go. She does have the Overseer ready, and the roaches of True just dive on top, trying to focus down the Ravagers. She's trapped in a corner. These roaches of True just relentless, trying to push their way through.
Importantly, Carapace was not done yet for True while this fight actually went down at the very beginning of it. Still not done as well here, but they did pin these roaches back in a very vulnerable position. Some of the Ravagers died at the front as well. Scarlet, for all intents and purposes, split up her army very, very well, but it looks like the numbers could eventually just overwhelm here for True.
There's only so much you can do when you're already down so much army supply, and True did it perfectly. He kept maneuvering and positioning, and the moment Scarlet was split up enough, he just jumped on a quarter of her army, wiped that out, and now the supply advantage does not lie. True is way up in army. He's got his 4th fully mining behind this. He's overwhelming. He's popping up Tunneling Claw, roaches all over the place. This has been a masterclass of Zerg vs. Zerg from True.
There you go, GG. True will advance to the round of 24 after showing brilliant step-by-step execution here in game number 3. And realistically, their economies weren't even that different going into, after that roach hold there by Scarlet, but the Queen's not having them available. Very difficult to replenish with, and you got no lava.
A cheeky smile there from True. He takes down the IEM champion, the player who's been doing so well and had so many high hopes. But he fought well, he fought hard here, and we will be hearing from the man himself. We'll be right back.
everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2018. Sorry, my producer was in my ear, and it's been a long day. But continuing on with this interview, congratulations, True. It's been a very, very long day, but you finally make it through taking down Scarlet. And Scarlet's been a very tough opponent for you. In the past year, you guys have faced each other 7 times, and she's won 6 of those times. So what was different this time? How were you able to take her down?
I was weak against the girl because I was gentleman. But not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, I don't know if I buy that answer very much, but let's talk about this series, because in that second game, it looked like you were close to pulling off a 2-0, but then Scarlet was able to barely hold. So what do you think went wrong there?
When I push, I thought it's almost defense, so I was considering make juggling or drone. So I made lately, so she held. Yeah.
Well, last year in 2017, you had some really great results, 3 top 4s throughout the year. Coming into this event, despite the fact that there's so many great players here, how do you think that you can do here? What's your goal?
My goal was top 24. Yeah, now my goal is kill all the Koreans. Yeah.
Hey, kill all the Koreans. I like that. Well, congratulations again. And unfortunately, that does mean our recent IM Pyeongchang champion in Scarlet is out, when True will be the one to move on from this bracket B.
All right. Thank you so much, Smix. And that wraps up day number 1.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk now?
Hey.
Not you, but these 2 guys. I want to hear what they think about the series.
Well, that was a nail biter.
Yeah, she got the series she wanted.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't turn out well for her. The ZVZ best of 3 and True being the master of disaster that he is, actually playing, you know, as much as we keep talking about aggressive games, blah, 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 he had some very solid mid to late game there against Scarlet. And Scarlet's, who's she beaten? Oh, just, you know, Rogue. Every other great Zerg, Laser, you know, that's all like recent scalps for her and ZVZ. So her matchup is pretty incredible, but not today, unfortunately.
The streak's been shot down. Obviously, she's still a strong player. I still want to see how she performs in the GSL, but True showing that he can hold his own.
Yeah, his ZVZ was pretty good, huh, Tom?
I can speak now?
You can speak now.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Okay, go now. Yeah.
No, you guys. It's good to see True kind of be on top of his mind games here today the entire day, like across multiple series against Protoss, against Zerg before that one game where he went Lair and then made only Zerglings and Banes. That was amazing. So really seeing good things out of him, and I hope he continues like that in the rest of the tournament later on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a good series. It's too bad that Scarlet's out, of course, one of the big fan favorites, but True is dangerous indeed, and losing a couple ZVZs to these aggressive Zergs, anything can happen. So, I mean, this has been a pretty sick day, I have to say, and the fact that we have 5 more days of StarCraft 2 before we leave Poland, it's a good time to be alive.
That's the sound you make. We got 5 more days of StarCraft 2. Today kicked a lot of ass. I loved how different all the matchups were. We had a lot of upsets. We've had players who we thought we were going to perform, and I'm not just talking about Scarlet here, but we thought we're going to perform really well and tear it through, and we've seen some of these newer players actually really bring it.
Yeah. Looking at the bracket number 1, you guys have any matches that really stand out? I mean, this is such a long stream.
I mean, Maru's stats has got to be my series of the day from bracket 1.
Oh,
sure. that was incredible. The game 3 turning TVP on its head just in one map.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick.
I think the Terrans will be talking about this one for a while. It was cool to see 3 Terrans make it in the first group, in the first bracket, and then 3 Zergs in the second bracket. You know, as I mentioned earlier, maybe it's time for the Protosses tomorrow, but. Yeah, these guys.
Don't worry, I'm sure we'll get 6 Protoss tomorrow out. It's not a problem.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, bracket number 2 kind of went a little bit faster. A few less matches being shown there overall.
Well,
but I mean,
a lot more ZVZs in bracket number 2 as well, and you know, best of 3s they tend to end pretty fast.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot of aggressive Zergs in that bracket. But I mean, that is a good day of StarCraft, I would say.
We are very, very spoiled as StarCraft fans. You guys all at home, you're spoiled as well. And so it's just been high class, been high caliber. Tomorrow's going to be exactly the same.
All right. Well, I mean, this has been great, guys. Thanks so much for joining me up here. Don't you forget, we're going to be back tomorrow, 10:50 a.m. Polish time. What is that? CET?
Central European, I think.
Central European?
I think.
CET. Is that right, Todd? You're from Europe. You should know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Central European time.
What is it in KST?
Nailed it.
KST is 8 hours more.
Whoa. We got a
So
pro on our hands.
Wow,
Damn.
Mr. Clock over here. All right, Todd the Clock Merlot. Guys,
what? Kelly's come back, please.
oh, he'll be back. No worries about that. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you tune in again tomorrow, and we'll see you there.